Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to CSS Lesson 8. Today we're going to be talking about how you actually make a menu. So it's actually pretty straightforward, and the HTML portion is really easy actually. So all a menu really is a list of links that are formatted in a way that makes them look better than a list of links, right? So let's go ahead and do the HTML portion of this first. So all it is an unordered list, and then I have list items, and each link is actually inside of those list items. So I'm putting placeholders here for my list items right now, or at least for my links inside of my link here. So it says hashtag home. Obviously you would put your link to your home page here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and say home as my text /a, close out my link and my my list item tag. Let's go ahead and see how this looks. First, Control S. And as you can see, it's just a bullet point with a link there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really quickly just go ahead and copy paste this a couple times and go ahead and change these to a couple different web pages. Let's have an about page, a blog page, and how about a contact page? You know, a basic blog or basic personal website. So we have an about page, we've got a blog page, we've got our contact page. So now we have a list of links here. So now that's really about all we need for our actual HTML portion of this. We do need a lot more in terms of the actual CSS that we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and go up into our head now. I'm going to go ahead and open up my style tag. And first things I want to do is I want to get rid of this, obviously, this annoying bullet point here. It looks awful, and I mean this just looks, I'm sure you've seen a menu like this. This is just a pure HTML menu or navigation bar that you can use. I'm sure you've seen this before. Now, first thing we want to do is let's go ahead and turn off that annoying bullet point. So we'll list-style type none. And I need to close my style tag, /style. Don't forget to do that. I do that all the time. Don't forget to do that. So now we've taken away those bullet points. Pretty easy. Looks a lot better now. The next thing we want to do is you could keep this as a horizontal or a vertical menu. However, I am a big fan of vertical or horizontal menus. So I'm going to go ahead and say li. So now I'm selecting each of these list item tags, right? And then I'm going to say, first thing I want to do is say float : left. See what that looks like. And now they are all horizontal, right? So they're right next to each other, unfortunately, so we're going to have to mess around with some other styles of the actual links themselves, but at least they're horizontal, step by step, right? So that's the second part of the style we want to change. The third thing we want to change is let's go to our LIA. Now, what happens when I say LIA is that I am selecting the links that are the child element of my list item tags. So as you can see, it says LIA, and as you saw before, my links are actually inside of my list items, so they are considered child elements. So we can go ahead and now just choose those specific links and change the styles of those. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn off the text decoration. Now the text decoration right now is this underlining that you can see. There's a couple other text decorations that you can change, like shadows and outlines, and I encourage you to look at those on your own time. But right now we're just going to turn off those text decorations. So as you can see, do that, and now those are gone. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and get some padding. We want to separate these a little bit. I'm going to do 13 pixels because that's my favorite, one of my favorite numbers. Do that, and now it's a little more spread out, right? That looks a lot better. Next thing I'm going to do is I want to say display : if I can spell display right, block. Now display block is going to allow us to actually have a block feature on our links, so it's gonna look a little bit better when we turn on our background color. So if I say background -color black, and I'm going to change the color of my text to white, Control S. Now you can see these are blocks and they look a little bit better rather than if I were to take this out. Kind of see it looks like that. I want it to be one thing. So look at that, Control S, there we go. Now you may want to spread these out and make the menu a little bit bigger. Maybe you want it to take up the whole, most of the web page. So where you would do that is you'd go up to your LI tag and you'd go up here and say width, right? Because this is going to set the width of the LI tag, which contains our link, and say, I don't know, what if I said 20%? Let's see what that looks like. So now as you can see, it makes it bigger. I'm going to keep it at 20%. Maybe let's do 23%. That's about perfect for me right now. So I like that. That looks pretty good. So that's how you actually make that menu expand a little bit. You could make it, take up the entire web page if you wanted to. That is up to you. I like this. I don't want to take up the whole thing. The next thing we could do is we could say border-right, so that we can actually get some separation between each of these menu elements. So let's go ahead and say border-right, 2 pixels, solid white, and now we have some separators. Notice the text isn't in the center of my blocks. So I should go into my LIA style, say text-align, center, do that, and now we got it centered. So that's pretty nice. This is looking better already. We got a nice little menu here. So the next thing I might want to do is notice when I hover over these, my cursor changes, but there's nothing about the style of the tag that's changing. Maybe I want to indicate that I am hovering over these and change the color of that. Now, this is the way we do this is we say LIA:hover. Now, if you remember, if you watch CSS lesson 6, this is a pseudo class. :hover is the pseudo class of this link. So anytime we hover over the link that is a child element of the list item, it will then be able to change the style of it. So if we say background, let's go ahead and say background-color green. So now anytime we hover over these blocks, they should change color. And as you can see now, oh, that's nice. Ooh, that's really nice. I like that a lot. Looking good, looking good. So the next thing we might want to do is we might want to, indicate what page we're actually on, so that we can say, am I on the home page right now? I don't really know. So we might want to change the color of the actual block that we're on right now. And the way that we would do that is we would actually use a class and then define the color of that class separately. So if I'm on my home page, I would go into my home tag and say class equals :active, just to say that's a good name, active. It's my active class, right? So I can go up here, and then I can go ahead and say LIA.class and define the background color of that. So if I wanted it to be, I don't know, purple, to indicate what active class I am on. Oh, this should have been active, my fault. A.active, the active class. Now I can hit Control S. And see, now even when I hover over this, it stays that color, but all the other ones change. So this would indicate that I am on the home page. If I were to be instead on the About page, this would be obviously all this would be my content from my About page, and I'd have all my styles here. But all I would need to do is then take this class, take it out of the home link, and put it in the About link. Control S. Now, if I did this, it indicates that I'm on my About page. So that's pretty easy, actually. Nothing too crazy there. You could also, if you wanted to do some more stylings of something, you could maybe, you could give the left and right side of these menus a little rounded edges. So the way I would do that is say ID equals left menu. For my left block, ID equals right menu. And I could then go up here and say, hashtag left menu. Give it a border radius, give it some style here, and remember it goes top left, top right, bottom left, so we want, let's say 50 pixels, 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 50 pixels. So let's see what that looks like on the left here. So as you can see, that did that for my left, and then for my right menu, I'm going to do basically the mirror of that border radius. It'll be border-radius, 0 pixels, 50 pixels, 50 pixels, 0 pixels. And again, you can do whatever radius you want, but now I've got this nice little rounded edges, and the way I did that again is I gave those two, the furthermost left link that ID left menu, and the further right link that ID right menu, and then I can define the border radius of those independently. So now you've got a nice little navigation bar. You should be able to, put this right below your header, or maybe if you want to, you can integrate it inside of your header tag. But that is entirely up to you. That should get you started. So go ahead and play around with that, and hopefully you enjoy your new menu. I certainly do enjoy mine. All right.